Hi, my name is Brittany J. Jones. In this video, I am going to be showing you how to use the body measurements on the back of the pattern envelopes, as well as the finished garment measurements to help you pick your ideal pattern size. Before we go out and purchase a pattern, there are a few things that I do recommend doing, and that is taking your body measurements at home. If you did not know, the pattern companies have recently updated their size charts, so you can not only find a new size chart for misses, but also for women's, men's, and children. On those size charts, you will see a diagram with lines showing you exactly where to measure your body to get specific measurements. So for your high bust, your waist, your hips, all of those measurements, they have a little guide again on the size chart, and I recommend that you take all of those measurements down. You may not need all of them to pick a pattern, but it's always great to just have them handy, especially if you need to make adjustments to your pattern. You will know exactly how much you would need to adjust a pattern so that it fits your body. So again, before you head to the store to purchase your pattern, take a look at the new size charts, write down your measurements. That will help you be able to pick your pattern even better. We are going to take a look at a pattern that's on simplicity.com right now. The pattern number is 9544. It is a missus dress and a jumpsuit. Now, when you take a look at the pattern here on the website, you will see that it does not have all of the numbers on it that you will see when you go to the store. And this is what I mean. On this pattern here, you can see that it has a little bit more numbers than it does on the website, but that's okay. I'm going to show you how to find that on the website. But just know, patterns come in multiple pattern envelopes. Unless there is a pattern that has all the sizes included, you will more than likely see a pattern that comes in 2 different envelopes, maybe sometimes even 3, depending on the size range. You will have one that's for a smaller size, maybe a 6 through 14, and the larger size may be a size 16 through 24. So it's important to make sure that you are picking the right size envelope, and to do that, it is based off of your body measurements, which is why I want you to go ahead and take those before you head out to the store. So for Simplicity 9544, if you were going to purchase this pattern online and you needed to pick your size, you can come right over here to the drop-down menu where it says Choose Size Options. You will see that there's 2 pattern sizes envelopes. The first one is for the 16 through the 14, and then the second one is for the 16 through the 24. You would just select which size that you would need and you would add it to cart. But before you can figure out what size you need, again, that's based off your body measurements. So let's take a closer look at the body measurements for this pattern. On the back, you will see body measurements right here on the back of the pattern envelope. And for example, we would just go with my bust. My bust is a 40. So based off of that, I would need to cut the size 18, which means I need to buy the larger pattern, which is for the size 16 through 24, right? Maybe. And this is what gets kind of tricky for a lot of new and also returning sewers. The body measurements are simply meant as a guide for you to purchase your right size envelope. I selected this pattern because I know it can be kind of tricky because based off of this measurement, I need the larger size. However, if we come down to the finished garment measurement, we will see that when this garment is finished and made, the bust for A, B, and C, those are the views on the pattern, the bust for the size 18 is a 46.5. That means around my bust will be 6.5 extra inches. Now, if that's something that you prefer, great. But for me personally, I don't want 6.5 extra inches of ease or room and fabric around my bust area. So it's very important to not only look at the body measurements on your pattern, but also to look at the finished garment measurements. The finished garment measurements tell you what the garment will measure when it is finished. The body measurements only take into account your body. It doesn't take into account the garment at all. It doesn't take into account the design and the wearing ease. The design ease is to design what the designer has made the garment to be. Is it more oversized? Is it more fitted? Is it supposed to have more volume? So all of those little design elements plays into the finished garment measurement. Your wearing ease, that is just for our comfort so that we can move around with comfort in the garment. So the body measurement, it doesn't take any of that into account. It only takes into account your body measurement. So it should only be used as a guide for you to purchase the right pattern size envelope. It should not be used as the end all be all for what size you should cut. You have to look at those finished garment measurements. And even when you look at those, then you can decide, okay, I like this pattern. I see that the designer has it a little bit more oversized. I like that look, but I don't want it too oversized. So for my personal preference, I could actually get the smaller size envelope and cut the size 14. That will give me 2.5 extra inches of ease. Or I could cut the size 16, which would give me 4.5 inches of extra ease. So again, when you go into the store with your body measurements in hand, use those body measurements as a guide to help you select the right size pattern envelope, but also make sure that you take a look at the finished garment measurements. That will help you decide exactly which size to cut, because that takes into account what the garment will measure after you have it sewn.